Matthieu Betts is heading back to the CFL. Not only the CFL, but with the BC Lions. From one Lion to another Lion to back to the original team that he came from before he spent some time with the Detroit Lions. According to Twitter, not even going to try to say Farhan, his name, says Matthieu Betts is agreed to terms with the BC Lions. Matthieu Betts spent time with the Lions before he came to the Lions, and now he's going back to the Lions. Now, I made a video a couple weeks ago. It was exactly 2 weeks ago, and I was talking about we were watching an interview with Matthieu Betts, and remember I told y'all that he lost his confidence. Now, I'm going to say something here, and I hope that I'm wrong because I want to be wrong in this situation. Not a lot of times I want to be wrong, but I want to be wrong. A lot of times we look at these guys as less talented because of where they came from. And I think that to some extent that is true. I think that's true where you didn't make the NFL, you dominate in a different league, and then you come back to the NFL and you're kind of a wash, right? You're a nobody. You don't even make an NFL roster, let alone practice squad. Matthieu Betts was cut from the Lions 90-man roster. He was one of the lone new guys not picked up by the Lions. Like we didn't bring him back. And I don't know how to feel about this. Like I feel, you guys know how I feel about James Houston. Very, very, it's to me, James Houston is just a one-trick dude. He's very, very good at that one trick, but he's a one-trick dude. That's just like, you're not going to change my mind, right? So when it comes to Matthieu Betts, you guys don't understand. I have wanted a pure pass rusher since the beginning of time. I feel like it's one thing that the Detroit Lions just don't really have. They don't have a pure pass rusher outside of Aiden Hutchinson. Now, we brought in Marcus Davenport. It is what it is. If Marcus Davenport can stay healthy, then great. Maybe he can go back to the days of 9 sacks. But Matthieu Betts was a guy I was really, really, really rooting for. This guy has 18 sacks in 18 games. The CFL has 18 games. They have a 21-week season, but they have 18 games. They have 3 bye weeks. So we talk about if the NFL ever becomes an 18-game season, will the NFL do 2 or 3 bye weeks? But Matthieu Betts goes back to and I feel like this is just my honest opinion. And again, I'm just a dude sitting in his basement talking about his favorite team. But I love that. I love that about the fact that I have a voice. I have an opinion. Like, it's going to be different from yours, but that's how we are. It's cool. I feel like the Lions did a disservice. I really do. And this is the problem that I have. I think they did a disservice to Matthieu Betts. They really, really did. They come in there. He's dominant in from a pass rusher standpoint in the CFL. You bring him in, you put too much on his plate, and you did the same thing with James Houston. The only difference is James Houston is a draft pick. He's a draft pick. And so I feel like Matthieu Betts, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think he had a fair shot. And I'm looking at this whole thing, and I'm like, okay, so the CFL season, it goes from mid-June to the middle of November. So according to this Twitter post, it says Matthieu Betts is only going to play in the remaining 7 games. So he spent the entire offseason. He came here in February. We made a video about this guy as the season was going on. The Lions were still in the season. And I believe we made a video about this guy. He signed with the Lions in February. And we cut him. We cut him to go back and he went back to the CFL. I just think that this whole thing is busted. In my opinion, it was a disservice. And this ain't about black or white or it's not I don't dislike James. I just don't, he's good at one thing. And I hope that his game has improved. I truly do, because we needed to. We absolutely needed to. So if he's on the 53-man roster. So unlike Mitchell Agude, unlike Isaac Ukwu, the guys that I think were better than him in the preseason, they have to be elevated. He doesn't. So the Lions literally they believe in him, which is all that matters. I just, that's just me. But, who am I, right? So I feel like Matthieu Betts was done a disservice. And if you go back and look at the video that we've we looked at. When he was being interviewed, he kind of looked like he was, and this is before the last preseason game. He looked like that he was on his way. Like he knew he wasn't going to make the team. And I didn't even know this happened so quietly. I didn't even know that he went back to not only the CFL, but the team that he originally came from. And, we talk about these guys, calling Nate Sudfeld trash and all that other stuff. That's just his game and stuff like that. It's really not personal. I don't know the guy, right? So it's not personal. But at the same time, sometimes it's easy for us to forget that these dudes are human. Like they're human. And I think about, wow, if I invested the last 6 months of my life, like Matthieu Betts has been with the Lions for 6+ months, 7 months. Six, like February to August is 6 months. 6 months, man, just to be cut when they had you doing something that you probably shouldn't have been doing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not really asking James to cover. They're not. That just tells me that they got a ton of faith in James. I personally don't, but we're going to see. I hope that he does. Y'all don't understand. I would love to wear a clown suit. If I'm wearing a clown suit, that means that our defensive line, DJ Reader played more than 12 games. He got more than 2 sacks. Our defensive line didn't have 41 sacks on the season or 38 or whatever it was. We weren't 23rd in sacks. I welcome that. But Matthieu Betts, man, I mean, this is kind of tough, like looking at it from here. But Matthieu Betts, man, back in the CFL to play the remaining 7 games. It's just tough, man. It is tough. Like I was really, really, really rooting for this guy because I think he was as close to just a dominant pass rusher from. I mean, if Matthieu Betts gets 5 or 6 sacks, y'all got to understand how bad our pass rush was. Now I know we have DJ Reader. I know we didn't have Terrion Arnold, and our back end was suspect. I understand that, but when you look at the pass rush and you look at like just sit, marinate on this. Just sit, take a deep breath, marinate on what I'm about to tell you, right? Aiden Hutchinson, 11.5 sacks. He's a DN. That's what 2023 was. The next closest person was a smaller defensive tackle with 5. That is the highest sack total on our defensive line. After that, you had a linebacker. You know what the next number was? 3. After him, you had a safety. You know what his number was? 3. That is a problem. And I think that Matthieu Betts could have helped that. But again, James Mitchell could do this. James Houston could do the same thing. He could do the exact same thing. I just don't think that James Houston is what he was in 2022 for several reasons. The NFL knows who this kid is now. They're not going to let him come in and sack people and go crazy. They're going to be watching for him and knowing that if you stop his speed, he loses, right? I don't know if he has the power. If James can add power and some pass rush moves, then he could be something, a 6th-round pick who turns into a legend. That's just facts. So I want size, speed, and strength. The best combination possible. I think Matthieu Betts had a really good chance, and I think he was derailed by the fact that they gave him Sam linebacker duties. The dude is, you let Hawk smash. That's what you do. That's what they're doing with James Houston. Hawk smash. You know what I want to know? How close was it? How close was it between Matthieu Betts and James Houston? I think it was closer than a lot of people think. I really, really do. I really, really do. But then again, the dude didn't even make the practice squad, so I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe the Lions were so disgusted by what they saw at Sam linebacker that they just like, you trash. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you could just go from destroying in the CFL to pretty decent in the NFL to not even on an NFL team. Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy. So wishing Matthieu Betts the best. Wishing James Houston the best. He's on my team. So anybody on my team, I'm wishing him the best. Hopefully, there's certain guys you never have to see, but hopefully, I feel like this was, the writing was on the wall when we saw that interview. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Matthieu Betts? Do you think Matthieu Betts was given a fair deal? Because I don't think he was. I just don't. And Brad Holmes does, in my opinion, he has a tendency to hold on to draft picks. Because I'm going to tell you who I think made this team with the performance on. I was convinced that Jamar Jefferson was not going to be on this team. I was 100% convinced that it was just time. This is his last year with us. And I was convinced he wasn't going to be on this team. And that performance on Sunday, 2 rushing touchdowns. I like the dude. I think he has talent, but I think it was time for us to move on. He made his way onto the team. So we kicked out Zonovan Knight. Bam is no longer on the team. We went with Jamar instead. But I think that Brad has a tendency to hold on to his draft picks too. I truly do. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you think Matthieu Betts was given a fair shot in Detroit? I'm not sure he was. I don't know. You didn't ask Mitchell Agude and, Uku to do Sam linebacker. He was big. Dan Campbell literally said he was big and fast, and you have him doing all this stuff, and then he probably out there looking dumb, right? So I don't know. Wishing the best. I have the utmost respect for these guys. NFL, CFL, it doesn't matter. This guy played in 18 games in last season's CFL. The season was over. He got a couple months rest. He comes back, practices with the Detroit Lions, spends 6 months there, goes immediately from a preseason game on Saturday with the Lions. They fully expect him to play in Sunday's game or whenever the BC Lions play again. That is dedication. And I'm wishing Matthieu Betts the best, man. Hopefully one day you can come back and actually make an NFL roster. Maybe it just might be here. You never know. Because this is James Houston. I want to say this is his last year with us. Yeah. So I don't know. I think next year is going to be a little bit different. But listen, I don't hate James Houston. I don't know how many times I don't have to say that, or I have to say that. My issue with James Houston is he is good at one thing. He's really good at that one thing. And if you stop that one thing, he is a non-factor. That's just the bottom line, right? So that's what I'm thinking. To me, he just don't have the speed. I mean, he don't have the power. He's got speed. He does not have he's got speed and shiftiness. He has to bend and twist and all that stuff to get around you. And his moveset is super limited. But again, I'm going back to 2022. 2023, no sample size. 2024, we're going to see. And I'm wishing him the best. He's on my team. So let me know your thoughts, man. I think Matthieu Betts' chance to make the Detroit Lions roster was assassinated when they had him do Sam linebacker duties. But wishing him well, man. Go ahead and destroy them fools in the CFL and make your way back, man. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Consider subscribing to the YouTube channel as well. We are on a push to get to 22K. We have 143 subscribers until we get to 22K. I think we could be there by Monday, if people are not in their feelings, because it happens. I say something and, we'll see. But you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. Good morning, by the way, if you're watching this when it comes out.